This is the Odyssey we're continuing with. This is book 9. Okay. And it's called New Coasts and Poseidon's Son, book 9. Sorry, just almost knocked something down, of course. What shall I say first? What shall I keep until the end? Now remember, this is the story that Odysseus is relating to the Phaeacian king whose name is Alcinous. The gods have tried me in 1,000 ways, but first my name. Let that be known to you. And if I pull away from pitiless death, friendship will bind us, though my land lies far. I am Laertes' son, Odysseus. Men hold me formidable for guile in peace and war. This fame has gone abroad to the sky's rim. My home is on the peaked sea mark of Ithaca, under Mount Neon's wind-blown robe of leaves, in sight of other islands, Dultutium, same wooded Zaxinthius. Ithaca, being most lofty in that coastal sea, and northwest, while the rest lie east and south. A rocky isle, but good for a boy's training. I shall not see on earth a place more dear, though I have been detained long by Calypso. So you can see on the side here that we have some guides for reading. Okay, so if we say tried here, when it refers to 3, this is referring to what line it is. This is a common thing done with poetry. So it goes by 5s, but it actually is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so it goes on. So it counts line by line. So 3 here is going to refer to what line this shows up on. So we have it right here. Same thing with hold here on line 7. So we go 6, 7, 6, 7. This is 8. And this is a broken line. So it's 7 here. This is 8 and this is 9. Here's hold. It also shows up on the same line, but it gets more interesting here when we have 11 through 13. So we have 11, 12, 13. So this is talking about all of these. So you have Mount Neons here. You have Dulcium here. You have Zaxinthus there. And then you have Ithaca. At the bottom of the page, you can see the words to know. This essentially is going to be your vocabulary. You are responsible for all of the vocabulary words. These vocabulary words, or the words to know, are the ones that are going to show up on the quiz. And we'll call it quiz number 1 on intro through book 9. Now, the first quiz you're going to have is going to be on Friday, which is going to be the pre-stuff. This is going to be on the Olympians, and it is going to be on the background for the Odyssey. Okay, the next quiz you would have would be on this introduction, which would include, okay, this invocation for book 1, what's happened prior to, so books 1 through 8, where we know that he was with Calypso for some of the time. Okay, so those are the things that you would have to know from here. And then continuing with book 9. As we go through, each quiz will be on a particular book. All right, so it says here, I have long been detained by Calypso, going to the next page. Loveliest among goddesses, who held me in her smooth caves to be her heart's delight. As Circe Vaia, the enchantress, desired me and detained me in her hall. But in my heart I never gave consent. Where shall a man find sweetness to surpass his home and his parents? In far lands he shall not, though he find a house of gold. Now looking on the side here, okay, this says 18 to 22. It says Odysseus refers to 2 beautiful goddesses, Calypso and Circe, who have delayed him on their islands. Details about Circe appear in Book 10. Notice, however, that Odysseus seems nostalgic for his own family and homeland. At this point in the story, Odysseus has been away from home for more than 18 years, 10 of them spent in the War of Troy. What of my sailing then from Troy? What of these years of rough adventure weathered under Zeus? Soon after leaving Troy, Odysseus and his crew land near Ismarus, the city of the Cicones. The Cicones are allies of the Trojans and therefore enemies of Odysseus. Odysseus and his crew raid the Cicones, robbing and killing people, until the Ciconian army kills 72 of Odysseus's men and drives the rest out to sea. Delayed by a storm for 2 days, Odysseus and his remaining companions continue their journey. I might have made it home safely that time, but as I came round Malea, the current took me out to sea, and from the north a fresh gale drove me on, past Cythera. 9 days I drifted on the teeming sea before dangerous high winds. Upon the 10th, we came to the coastline of the lotus eaters, who live upon that flower. We landed there to take on water. Okay, what does it mean to take on water? It literally means you're a ship at sea. Okay, so you cannot drink, so you need drinking water. So they literally would have gone to get water from the land. They also would have had to potentially get food from the land, because the further you are out at sea, the less likely you are going to be able to catch fish in order to sustain yourself. All ship's companies mustered alongside for the midday meal. Then I sent out 2 picked men and a runner to learn what race of men that land sustained. They fell in soon enough with lotus eaters, who showed no will to do us harm, only offering the sweet lotus to our friends. But those who ate this honeyed plant, the lotus, never cared to report nor to return. They longed to stay forever, browsing on that native bloom, forgetful of their homeland. Okay, so this lotus, okay, is going to be a plant that causes forgetfulness. But you're not aware of that forgetfulness because of a sense of peace and happiness. Can you think of some other plant that you may take into your body that may cause forgetfulness, may cause you to be happy in what you're doing and forget everything else, including your responsibilities and maybe even your ultimate goal, which is they forgot their own homeland. They forgot that they were trying to get home to their families, to the place that they were from, that everybody else wanted to get to, that they were supposed to report back and do their duty. They forgot everything. So these lotus eaters would cause other individuals to partake. So we could think about this plant, this lotus, as a drug. Continuing. I drive them, all 3 wailing, to the ships, tied them down under their rowing benches, called the rest. All hands aboard, come, clear the beach, and no one taste the lotus, or you lose your hope of home. Okay, so he ended up getting these men, getting them on board, and causing them to be tied down because they wanted to go back and continue partaking of the lotus. Filing in their places by the rowlocks, my oarsmen dipped their long oars in the surf, and we moved out again in our seafaring. In the next land we found were cyclopses, giants, louts, without a law to bless them, in ignorance, leaving the fruitage of the earth in mystery to the immortal gods. They neither plow nor sow by hand, nor till the land, though grain, wheat, wild wheat and barley grows untended, and wine grapes in clusters ripen in heaven's rain. Cyclopses have no muster and no meeting, no consultation or old tribal ways, but each one dwells in his own mountain cave, dealing out rough justice to wife and child, indifferent to what others do. So essentially, he's saying here, okay, by not plowing, by not engaging in any type of farming, okay, that he's showing that these individuals are uncivilized. Okay, so essentially we're saying that one way that we can tell if a culture is civilized if they engage in farming. Okay, and we're talking about wheat, we talk about barley and wine grapes. Okay, and then we talk about it too in terms of how they live alone with little to no interaction with others. Okay, so they lack this concept of what? No society. Okay, so the two things that we can see that Greeks value, okay, in terms of a civilization are farming and some type of society. Okay, some type of social structure that extends further than just a family unit. Across the bay from the land of the Cyclopses is a lush, deserted island. Odysseus and his crew land on the island in a dense fog and spend several days feasting on wine and wild goats and observing the mainland where the Cyclopses live. On the third day, Odysseus and his company of men set out to learn if the Cyclopses are friends or foes. When the young dawn with fingertips of rose came in the east, I called my men together and made a speech to them. Okay, 68, this is going to explain things here. The use of fingertips of rose to describe the personified dawn is a famous epithet, a descriptive phrase that presents a trait of a person or thing. Watch for reappearances of this epithet in the poem and be on the lookout for other epithets. Old shipmates, friends, the rest of you stand by. I'll make the crossing in my own ship with my own company and find out what the mainland natives are, for they may be wild savages and lawless, or hospitable and God-fearing men. Notice how we have wild savages, lawless, or hospitable and God-fearing men. He gives you just one or the other. It's black or it's white. It is not any level in between, okay? He sees things very starkly. At this I went aboard and gave the word to cast off by the stern. My oarsmen followed, filing in to their benches by the rowlocks, and all in line dipped oars in the gray sea. As we rowed on and nearer to the mainland, at one end of the bay we saw a cavern yawning above the water, screened with laurel, and many rams and goats about the place inside a sheepfold, made from slabs of stone, earth fast between tall trunks of pine and rugged, towering oak trees. A prodigious man slept in this cave alone, and took his flocks to graze a field, remote from all companions, knowing none but savage ways, a brute so huge he seemed no man at all of those who eat good wheaten bread, but he seemed rather a shaggy mountain reared in solitude. Okay, remember here this concept. Okay, what does this talk about? A shaggy mountain reared in solitude. This is negative. Okay, we're not speaking highly of this Cyclops here. He doesn't eat wheaten bread. He doesn't engage in farming. He lives by himself. Both are negative things because the Greeks valued farming, agriculture, society. We beached there, and I told the crew to stand by and keep watch over the ship. As for myself, I took my 12 best fighters and went ahead. I had a goatskin full of that sweet liquor that Uthene's son, Maron, had given me. He kept Apollo's holy grove at Ismarus, For kindness, we showed him there and showed his wife and child. He gave me 7 shining golden talents. Okay, this is going to be a type of money. Perfectly formed. A solid silver wine bowl, and then this liquor, 12 two-handled jars of brandy, pure and fiery. Not a slave in Maron's household knew this drink. Only he, his wife, and the storeroom mistress knew. And they would put 1 cupful, ruby-colored, honey smooth, in 20 more of water. But still the sweet scent hovered like a fume over the wine bowl. No man turned away when cups of this came round. Okay, so only he and his wife, okay, and the storeroom mistress just know about this. So this is going to be, we might even call it the good stuff. Okay, this is the high quality stuff. This is stuff that would be exceedingly potent. So I'm going to stop right here and we'll continue on. This is going to be called Book 9, Part 1. I don't want to make any of the videos exceedingly long.